In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys about my planted guppy tank. Coming up. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about specifically the plants growing and the light that I'm using to grow them. So, if you look at these plants, I have some Anubias right here, some Java Fern, and some Water Sprite, and then right here I also have, here I'll adjust the camera, some Java Fern Windelov, and some Anubias Nana. Sorry, it's hard to point with this tripod going on and this camera, but anyways, and then I have some guppies in here and some snails. So I have 2 narrite snails and I think 5 guppies in here. You can see there's 2 right there, and then I have 3 of the yellow ones up there. They're pretty awesome. I haven't kept guppies in a little while, but I forgot how awesome they are. So let's talk about the plants. So as you can see, they have a bit of algae on them. I'll try to get closer here. You can see the brown diatom algae growing on these plants. But if you look at that right there, that's new Water Sprite growing. And it's starting to come in really good. This is after about, I'd say about a week and a half of growth. And you can see it up here on this too. Let me adjust the camera. So there's the guppies, but I'll show you this Water Sprite. So the Water Sprite, you can see the Water Sprite growing. You got the new roots here, and if you look close, you can see the algae on it. Like, check out the stem and the leaves. You can see the leaves have algae on them too. And this is like the initial algae battle that I'm having to do. I'm still getting good growth, like right there, and up at the top as well of that stem, and then right there, and then at the top of this one right here. So what I did was I basically cut these stems in half and I floated some and I planted some in the substrate. And I just did that just to experiment with, you know, I have this sponge filter here, right? So obviously the flow is not huge in this aquarium, so I wanted to be able to put some over here without blocking the front view, and just to experiment a little bit with floating the Water Sprite and planting it. And you can see right here, you can see the algae better on these leaves on this Anubias. It's still doing great. Like, these are all new leaves at the top here, and then you can see, like, this is what it looked like when I bought it from Petco. I got all these plants from Petco, by the way, if you haven't watched my other videos. And it's kind of like a PlantCo experiment. This was in like one of those beta buddy bowls. You can see one brand new leaf right there. It's so cute. But yeah, that's basically everything in here is from Petco. The guppies, not the sponge filter. The sponge filter was on Amazon. The heater is Petco. It's a Tetra heater. Honestly, not the best heater, not my favorite heater, but it's working. It's keeping the water temperature stable. But I definitely I don't really trust any heater, to be honest. There's a couple good ones that I like the Fluval heaters, and I like the Eheim heaters, but those 2 are my favorite. But I didn't feel like buying one, and I'm trying to keep this as Petco, you know, this is like Petco product. So the sand was just left over. Oh, you can see tons of algae down here. I actually might buy like a couple Amano shrimp to help with that. But so how am I dealing with the algae? I did a water change today, and I'm about to do another one. You can see the glass right here. I'm gonna scrape that off, and I'm gonna scrape everything off, go through, try to find some dead leaves, some algae covered leaves, probably take them off, brush the algae off, and then do the water change to drain as much as I can out. But once this water sprite gets going, there will be a lot less algae, because the fast growing plants help against that initial algae battle. So that's why I have the water sprite in there with the the slow growing Java fern and Anubias. There's some other plants I wanted to try, but we'll see how this looks at first. I want to get this substrate really nice and clean. I like the look of the white substrate with the, look at that snail. Get him in focus there. Eat all that algae, bud. Anyways, let's talk about these guppies. Like, these guppies are pretty cool. I like these yellow ones a lot. That's why I got 3 of them. But I also like the black one a lot too. I think when I move, I'm gonna have a tank of guppies and then like one nice black guppy like this. He's pretty nice for a Petco guppy, I think. Like, I'm not really into like competition breeding or anything. Like, just as long as they have good colors and cool looking fins, that's all I care about. But guppies are like so active, and like, see if I can get focused. Yeah, guppies are active. I locked this camera off just so I'm not shaking anymore. But so what else am I doing to help this algae problem? One, I have this automatic timer. Sorry, the light's off, you can't really see it. But I have lowered the time to 7 hours instead of 8. And the reason I did that is because this room gets pretty bright during the day, so I think that might be helping contribute to the algae problem as well. And then I'm doing 2 water changes a week, and I'm going to be dosing the Sea Chem Flourish right here. I'll be dosing that every time I do a water change until the algae problem has gone away and basically the water sprite has taken off, or water wisteria, sorry, it's water wisteria. But I also plucked the leaves, the cilantro leaves, off of the water wisteria. Those are the leaves that are that's what it looks like when it's grown out of water, so you can start to see the different looking leaves now. And I'm plucking those off as they get covered in algae. Those were honestly the most covered in algae. That's why those stems look pretty bare, because I plucked them all off. But we'll see how they look in a few days. I'll pluck more off probably. What else did I talk about? Oh, let me talk about the Aquarium light. It's right there. Oops, sorry. Let me get a good angle. There's the Aquarium light, and you see my Eheim feeder up there too, and that's up there because I'm actually about to go out of town for like 4 days. Well, 3 days. So when I get back, I'll also do another water change, and then later that week I'll do another water change again, just so I can combat the nutrient level for these plants, to help these plants beat the algae. So that's the plan. I wanted to show you, I didn't just want to show you this tank at its best. I wanted to show you the struggles with it and how I deal with it. I had some other struggles that I want to tell you guys about too, but I'm going to save that for another video. Another thing about this Aquarium light is this is the plant one that has a lot more lights than the regular clip-on Aquarium light. So if you're looking to get a decent light, this is actually a pretty decent light so far. You know, you see the plant growth of these plants, and you might be thinking, just, you know, it's growing algae too. Well, any good light will grow algae as well as help plant growth, because that's just how it works. Like, algae needs light to grow, plants need light to grow. So don't judge a light based on, oh, there's a ton of algae in there. Basically, all I'll have to do is reduce the time that the light is on to help beat the algae, and that's what I'm doing. So I'll probably do a review video on the Aquarium light after these plants are thriving a bit more, you know, and I've successfully beat this algae. So look out for that video if you're interested in seeing that. And I actually want to do a lot of videos like that. I actually want to show the lights in action opposed to just doing the review. I think it makes for a more interesting video. Like, even if it's a light I know that can grow plants, like, you know, I've done a fluval plant review video on this channel, but I really didn't show it growing plants, but I plan to do that in the future. And I just want to show lights growing plants, because, you know, sometimes there's debate whether the light can't grow, or, you know, whether you're just trying to do reviews to advertise products for companies or for sponsorships. But there's a lot of great lights out there, even budget lights, and like this Aquarium light wasn't too expensive. It was pretty good deal. I'll put a link in the description below for it. But yeah, that's the plan for the channel. And on the channel, I also plan to do maybe just one tank at a time. I actually really enjoy focusing on one fish tank at a time, and really going into detail about either my struggles, or I don't really enjoy the struggle part, but I enjoy showing off my one tank, or, you know, one tank at a time type thing. So if that's something you guys are interested in, and you haven't yet already, subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications, and I will see you guys on the next one.